Yo, what's good, fam? Buckle up, because we're diving headfirst into the wildest celebrity scandal of the decade, maybe the century. Picture this, a federal courtroom packed to the brim, tension so thick you could slice it with a butter knife, and a ghost from hip-hop's past dropping truth bombs that could blow the roof off. That's right, we're talking about Sean Diddy Combs' trial, where Tupac Shakur's voice, yes, Tupac, is shaking the music industry like a 9.0 earthquake. A never-before-heard recording, buried for decades, has clawed its way out of the vault, and it's got Diddy's name written all over it. Is this the moment the empire crumbles? Is Tupac's prophecy finally coming true? Stick around, because this is about to get messier than a reality TV reunion, and we're breaking it all down with the tea, the shade, and a whole lot of receipts. Let's go. Now, before we dive in, a quick heads up. Viewer discretion is advised. This is raw, unfiltered, and packed with courtroom drama that'll make your jaw drop. We're pulling straight from the federal testimony reported by inner city press, blending hard facts with the kind of wit that'll keep you glued to your screen. This isn't just gossip, it's a front row seat to a hip-hop conspiracy that's been brewing since the 90s. So grab your popcorn, silence your notifications, and let's unpack the chaos that's got the internet in a chokehold. Imagine a courtroom in Manhattan, May 2025, so packed it feels like a sold-out concert. Reporters are scribbling, lawyers are sweating, and the jury's eyes are wide as saucers. Why? Because a tape nobody saw coming just hit play. It's Tupac Shakur, recorded in 1996. His voice raw, intense, like he's staring straight through time. This isn't some polished studio track. It's an unreleased Angie Martinez interview, 2 hours long, but only 10 minutes ever saw the light of day. Why? Allegedly, Diddy himself made sure it stayed locked up. Yeah, you heard that right. Diddy, the man who built Bad Boy Records into a juggernaut, allegedly had the power to bury Tupac's voice. And now, that tape is the prosecution's secret weapon, painting a picture of betrayal, manipulation, and a music industry darker than a moonless night. Let's rewind to 1996. Tupac's in a studio with Angie Martinez, dropping truth like it's hot. He's not just talking rap beef, he's exposing a system. "I'm like a lightning rod," he says, his voice calm but sharp enough to cut glass. "I'm attacking New York's finest, their self-proclaimed king of New York." He doesn't say Diddy's name, but come on. We all know who he's talking about. Tupac's calling out a man who, according to insiders, wasn't just a mogul, but a master manipulator, pulling strings at Hot 97 like a puppet master. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, testified that Diddy didn't just hear that tape, he made sure it never aired. Why? Because Tupac was peeling back the curtain on Diddy's empire of secrets, and that was a truth too dangerous to let loose. Think of it like this. Diddy's empire was a house of cards, and Tupac was the guy with a leaf blower. Every word he spoke threatened to topple the whole thing. Pac wasn't just throwing shade, he was laying out a blueprint of how power really worked in the music game. He talked about silence being a currency, about how Diddy didn't just want to be the best, he wanted to own the best. Every time it benefits New York, he represents New York. When it don't, now he's just another rapper, Tupac said, dragging Diddy's chameleon act into the light. And the industry, they didn't want to hear it. Not because they didn't believe him, but because the truth was a Molotov cocktail, and nobody wanted to catch fire. Fast forward to the trial, and it's not just Tupac's ghost stealing the show. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, takes the stand, and her testimony is a gut punch. She's pregnant, emotional, but her voice doesn't waver as she describes a world where Diddy didn't just want control, he demanded worship. She talks about velvet-curtained hotel rooms, cameras rolling, and freak-offs that sound like something out of a dystopian novel. "You weren't invited to Diddy's world," she says, her voice cracking. "You were absorbed into it." Her phone was taken, her choices erased, and she was trapped in a cycle of fear and NDAs. The gallery gasps, some wipe away tears, but Cassie keeps going, laying bare a man who turned networking into a nightmare. Then comes Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, and this dude is done holding back. He looks Diddy dead in the eyes and says, "You weren't protecting anything, you were hiding everything." Deal confirms what many suspected. Diddy had the Angie Martinez tape and made sure it stayed buried. Why? Because Tupac was calling him out as the face of something sinister, a culture of silence, payoffs, and power plays. Deal's testimony is like a grenade. "Diddy told me, Tupac talks too much. One day someone's gonna shut him up. I didn't forget that." The courtroom goes silent, hearts drop, and suddenly, those old conspiracy theories about Diddy and Tupac's murder don't sound so crazy anymore. But the real plot twist? Monique. Yes, Monique. Stepping into the courtroom like she's about to win an Oscar for truth-telling. She's not here for drama, she's got receipts. Timelines, quotes, private audio, the works. "People weren't protecting Diddy because they believed him," she says, her voice steady as steel. "They were protecting their own seats at the table." She names names, Tyler Perry, Oprah, media execs, and calls them complicit. The jury's leaning in, the judge doesn't stop stop her, and for a moment, it's not just about Diddy. It's about an entire ecosystem that let a man like him become untouchable, while silencing voices like Tupac's. Monique's not playing, she's rewriting the narrative, and the industry's shaking in its boots. Let's talk Tupac for a second, because this man was more than a rapper. He was a visionary. He didn't just see the game, he saw the chessboard. While everyone else was freestyling, Pac was reading, researching, connecting dots. He noticed patterns. Young artists trapped in shady contracts, dancers kept too close, whispers of NDAs and secret deals. Something ain't right about Puff, he told Suge Knight. I don't know what it is yet, but it's coming. Pac wasn't throwing shade for clout. He was sounding an alarm. He cared about exploitation, about power being used to manipulate, especially kids. And when he started asking questions about Diddy, Uptown Records' Andre Harrell, and the industry's underbelly, the warning lights started flashing. Now let's get to Quad Studios, because this is where the story pivots. November 30th, 1994. Tupac walks into a Manhattan recording studio for a session. Routine, right? Wrong. Gunshots ring out, he's ambushed, robbed, shot 5 times, and left for dead. He survives, but the betrayal cuts deeper than the bullets. Pac's in a hospital bed, piecing it together, and he's sure this wasn't random. Someone knew he'd be there. Someone dimmed the lights. And upstairs, Diddy and Biggie Smalls recording in the same building, acting like nothing happened. No visit, no call, just silence. Then, Bad Boy drops Who Shot Ya? A track with lyrics so cold, Pac heard it as a warning. Stay quiet, or next time you don't get up. Diddy's always dodged questions about that night, smirking through interviews, but Gene Deal's testimony paints a different picture. Some people laughed about it, he says. Nobody acted surprised. Oof. That's the kind of receipt that keeps you up at night. Here's where it gets wild. Diddy didn't just want to outshine Tupac, he wanted to be him. John Deal called it an obsession. Diddy studied Pac's moves, his Versace fits, his speeches, even stealing his Grammy speech line for line. It's like Diddy saw Tupac's charisma and thought, I can't buy that, but I can copy it. And when Kim Porter, Diddy's ex, showed too much admiration for Pac, things got messy. Rumors say Diddy's jealousy turned hostile, and Pac's jokes about Diddy being his biggest fan started to sound like warnings. That man wants to be me so bad he'll do anything, Pac told friends. Anything. Let that sink in. The Angie Martinez tape is the ghost haunting this trial. 2 hours of Tupac spilling tea, but only 10 minutes ever aired. Why? Because Diddy allegedly made one call to Hot 97, and poof, it was gone. Angie claims she held it back to protect the peace, but Gene Deal says it was Diddy's orders. Pac wasn't just airing beef, he was exposing a system. He called Diddy more politician than artist, more cult leader than mogul. He talked about setups disguised as street beef, artists paid to disappear, and a rap game hijacked by people who cared more about control than music. He doesn't just want you to follow him, Pac allegedly said. He wants to own your voice. That's the kind of quote that makes an industry sweat, and it's why that tape was buried deeper than Atlantis. But Tupac saw even bigger. He wasn't just calling out Diddy, he was calling out the machine. The same corporations that own record labels own private prisons, he said in interviews. They tell you to rap about killing your brother, but you try to uplift your people. Budget's gone. Fast forward to 2025, and the Diddy trial is proving him right. Prosecutors aren't just talking parties, they're talking pipelines, contracts, NDAs, surveillance, blackmail. Will Smith's testimony echoes Pac's warnings. I wasn't invited to a world, I was initiated. Monica hinted at higher-ups, execs, politicians, media heads, who stayed clean while Diddy did the dirty work. Tupac called it, the money doesn't end at Bad Boy, it ends at the boardroom. Prophetic, you tell me. Now the million-dollar question. Did Diddy have something to do with Tupac's murder? For years, it was dismissed as a conspiracy theory, the kind of thing you'd see in a Reddit thread at 3 a.m. But the trial's changing the vibe. Cassie described Diddy's need for control. Monique exposed a system that propped him up, and John Deal dropped bombs about Diddy's obsession with Pac. Then there's Keith D, who claimed in a 2024 post on X that Diddy paid $1 for a hit on Tupac. Prosecutors haven't directly tied Diddy to the murder, but they're opening doors. Audio, video, sealed documents. It's all painting a picture of a man who didn't just want power, he wanted to erase anyone who threatened it. Tupac wasn't just a rival, he was a truth teller, and truth tellers don't last long in a game built on silence. The courtroom's buzzing with a question nobody wants to ask out loud. Was Tupac's 1996 murder in Vegas the first casualty in a war of silence? Pac knew he was being followed. He rapped about it, talked about it, lived looking over his shoulder, and when those bullets hit, he was already expecting betrayal, not from the streets, but from the industry. The trial's not done yet, but every witness, every tape, every whisper is making one thing clear. Tupac wasn't paranoid, he was just the first to see the monster. So what's next? This trial's already a wildfire, and we're only in week 3. Will the full Angie Martinez tape ever surface? Will more names get dragged into the light? And will we finally get answers about what happened to Tupac? One thing's for sure, the music industry's never been this exposed. And the truth is coming whether they like it or not. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment with your thoughts. Did Diddy bury Tupac's truth, or is this just the tip of the iceberg? Stay locked in, because this story's far from over, and we're here for every twist. Peace out, fam. Let's keep the conversation lit.